Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Second item today is citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with commission members on any topic they choose.
Jeff, roll call.
What? I'm sorry,
I'm gonna do
call.
roll.
Getting ahead of myself.
Commissioner Grabowski. Commissioner Hoff. Here. Commissioner Belt.
Here.
Commissioner Jelassic. Here. Trustee Rhodey.
Here.
And President Knudsen.
Here. It's the
And
rain.
Commissioner Liebert is excused.
Okay, now we'll go to citizen comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to share their opinions with commission members on any topic they choose. However, due to Wisconsin open meeting laws, the commission is not able to answer questions or respond to your comments. All comments should be directed to the commission. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and speakers are asked to please use the podium and state your name and address for the record. Is there anybody in here that would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, then we're going to go to item 3, Planning Commission. Approval of the minutes, Planning Commission meeting, May 12th, 2026. I hope everyone's had a chance to look them over. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections as the way they are presented this evening? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Rhodey to approve as written.
Second, Belt.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I'd just like to make,
wasn't here last.
oh, that's right. So it still passes. I'd just like to make a comment that it's been a very, very long time that we've had any corrections or questions as to the way they are written. Very good job. Thank you. Old business, we have none. New business, review, discussion, and possible action on 2-lot certified survey map, CSM. The applicant is Christian Brothers Automotive, and the owner is Meadow Creek Limited Partnership LLC. The request is a 38.175 acre parcel located at PWV 09019840006 and is Zone B1 Community Business District with a planned unit development overlay district, C1 Shoreland Wetland District, and a C2 Conservancy District. Who would like to go first?
Okay, just quick overview for you this evening. 2-lot CSM. This is a CSM being generated due to the Christian Brothers Automotive development. It is planned for this approximately 1.5 acre lot 2 you see down here. Plan Commission had previously approved that project in 2025. And then lot 1 is the remnant parcel, approximately 37.24 acres. The village engineer and his team did the technical review of it, so if he has any comments, he can add those. But from a zoning standpoint, meets our ordinance requirements for a 2-lot CSM.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Do you have anything that you wanted to add?
I guess the only question I had, and I think the engineer might have referenced this in his comments, I just want to confirm, there's no land or public improvements being dedicated to the village. Okay. If that is the case, then this does not need to go to the village board under our code. And I think the village board signature block is still on there, so I would just have that removed. The applicant can certainly.
The applicant has a question. Is their board okay with that?
Yep.
Yes.
Jim, go ahead.
I'm Jim Forrester, 3190 Gateway Road, Brookfield, Wisconsin. We're the owners of the land that's involved in this transaction. I'd like to comment quickly on the suggestions of the different members of the administration of this village concerning what's required. One of the comments was that they wanted to know who was going to maintain this property in perpetuity. I will tell you that by agreement with the village, I think it was January 6, 2020, Menards has agreed to maintain this property in perpetuity. That is the system, stormwater system. We have a piece of property that this is being CSM for, that we were supposed to have closed back in December. And because the pond, which Menards had agreed to reconstruct for their own benefit, has not been completed to this day, when it was required to have been completed by December 31st, 2022. So if we could have, as the owners of the property, the same notice of the things that are deficient, or the items that are being added as conditions to approval ahead of time, we as the owners could have resolved a good many of these issues well before. So we didn't know anything about it until yesterday, to be honest with you. So, just a comment.
Are there any questions or comments as it relates to this particular item from the board? If not, would somebody like to make a motion? No, the motion should,
The motion is for approval. So
Approval,
it's
right.
approval of the CSM. Your code allows the plan commission to approve CSM without it going to the board. That's why I asked if anything was being dedicated, because if it would, then the board would have to accept that dedication. That's not occurring here, so it would just be a motion to approve.
okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the certified survey map request for the 2-lot CSM for the property located at west and north of 1357 Capitol Drive, subject to the conditions that are pointed out in the document.
Second, Jurassic.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Item B, review, discussion, and possible action on business site plan of operation request of Johnson Financial Group to conduct a new 3,116 square foot building and associated parking area. This request is located at 1194 Capitol Drive, PWV 0903099. The 1.59 acre property is Zone B1 Community Business District. The property owner applicant is Johnson Financial Group. Does anybody have any questions or comments as it relates to this particular item? If not, would somebody like to make a motion?
I guess the only thing I had would be the planner's recommendation or comment that they gotta drop that 0.2% of the coverage. The impervious area, like we would just, that's in the planner comments. So we would just, that's gotta be taken care of either way through the motion.
Yeah, it has to be addressed because there's no waiver process as part of site plan review to grant, relief from that.
Okay. But that's the only stipulation that I saw, that it doesn't meet code.
Yeah, there's some landscape stuff. The applicant and I talked about them on Tuesday, kind of working through some of the landscape updates that we need as part of the plan. They did potentially have a question regarding the signage. So we can kind of point that out very quickly. Right now, they propose 2 signs. The way the village code reads is you're allowed 1 wall sign and then a second wall sign if you have a secondary customer entrance. The second sign they're proposing is not on a side that has a secondary customer entrance. So the 25 square foot second sign technically by code is not permitted. They did not technically ask for a sign code waiver as part of this, but that would be the mechanism to grant the second sign. If they wanted to file and Plan Commission wanted to grant that second sign, it would have to go through that sign code waiver process. Because right now, the code says you get 1 sign, and then if you have that second entrance, you get a second sign. So that is one piece that I know when I discussed this project with the applicant on Tuesday, that they would like to potentially see that second wall sign be allowed.
Can you show us where I see where one sign is listed, or where's the other one on the plan?
You're proposing that waiver as a separate process, though, right, Mark? Not through. the
We
site
did
plan.
not put it on the agenda, so I don't know if we can add it because it's a separate section of the code. I would somewhat defer to you, Attorney Grunsky. If there is a mechanism to handle it tonight,
Sure,
it
I
would save
br-
them
I
time.
bring it up because I tend to agree that it should be a separate process. That's how it's been defined in the code, and that's how it's been handled in the past. I don't think you can address it here through the site plan, unfortunately.
So, to your question, it is this second sign, that is not the right page, excuse me. It is this second emblem sign on the side of the building that would require that sign code waiver for the second sign if they wanted to go through that and Plan Commission wanted to grant it.
So it's not the monument sign?
Nope, monument sign is good.
Yep, okay.
Meets code. The primary Johnson Financial sign on the north elevation is well below, I think it's about 29 square feet. Code allows more than that, so they're good there. It is literally just, if they want the second sign, a sign code waiver would be that mechanism.
Question. We've allowed staff to approve signage up to, I think, a certain size. Is this something that could be just approved by staff?
So the sign code administrator waiver, as written in the code, and Attorney Grillings may help me if you can, is for height and size.
Yeah, it's not.
Specifically.
It's not a number of signs. They're asking for a sign in addition to the total that's allowed, correct?
Correct.
I don't think that's part of the administrative waiver.
So our current sign ordinance doesn't really take into account a corner lot like this.
Yeah, it
right?
does not really address multiple frontage lots. It just simply, right now, outlines you get a sign, and if you have a second entrance on the building, you can have a second one. It doesn't address, like this has 3 road frontages. Doesn't address, it does not give you any type of increase for having multiple road frontages. So that is potentially something we could look at, which is not uncommon in sign ordinances to address wall signs on a per street frontage basis. So there's a little nuance with the village's current code that we could look at in the future if you wanted us to.
Okay,
The bank right across the street, UW Credit Union, I think it has more than one, but they must have had it approved. with
So
their-
they went through the approval, and they also had to, Matt and I met with them a couple times, to significantly reduce what they had originally proposed before they brought it back.
They also have 3 roads.
It's, their request is not extraordinary, uncommon. I mean, it's a very minimal signage building. I think what they've presented in large would be a decent package, but procedurally, just to make sure we,
It's a function of our code, unfortunately, that it's a separate process.
and I think, it's something we could quickly put on for their July meeting date and take care of it.
Sir, did you want to say something, or was it touched on during the?
Well, in the other district, Brent has 707 River Ridge Drive with that percentage of impervious surfaces is an error. It will be fixed. It's just the math is correct. It just wasn't presented to you correctly. So it's not an issue.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? In that case, would somebody like to make a motion? Somebody?
I'll make a motion to approve the Johnson's Financial Group site plan
And business plan.
and business plan operations for the 1.59 acre lot. With planner comments and the update of the percentage of land use. Right,
Second, Rudy.
I'm sorry, did the engineer have comments in this one too? This one.
Yep.
Okay.
and engineering comments,
I'm sorry,
and
to
DPW, yes.
Thank you.
Second, good? Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is hereby carried. Look forward to you seeing your building. Item C, review, discussion, and possible direction of staff regarding comprehensive plans, future land use designation and zoning designation for property located at the southeast corner of Ryan Street and Highway 16, PWV 0884982 and 0884983. I just want the board or the planning commission to know that months back, I had talked to a couple developers about developing that piece of property similar to what we did for St. Mary's and the old nursing home, and they were very excited about doing it. Unfortunately, the acquisition of the property was way out of their line that they could see doing something like that. So this has been brought forward, and I guess I'll let Matt go forward, or Mark.
Yeah, so we put this on the agenda, no action tonight. This is just very high-level discussion. Myself being the, representative for the village planner was not around when the prior comp plan was done, so I don't have a lot of the background on this area. But over the last several months, I have received a high number of inquiries, I would, in the about 12 range, of parties interested in developing this site, and they have all been for multifamily residential. This area within the comprehensive plan has a special area plan that was specifically called out, and it talks about professional offices, entertainment, hotel, dining, and mixed use as being the desired future land uses. So when I've got inquiries, this is what I have pointed to for parties that are inquiring, telling them, this is what our comp plan calls for that area. It's B3 zoning, and these are our desired land uses. It has gotten to a point where I've gotten so many inquiries. I talked to village administrator and I said, hey, do you mind if I put this on plan commission so I can at least find out from plan commission if you have background on why the recommendation from the old comp plan was there, so we can basically, so I can better inform developers when they call me about why it is what it is. And then is there any desire from plan commission to maybe move off of what this original required, or are we happy with it? Really, the point of tonight is to help inform myself, so when I get these calls, I can better represent the village on what their opinion is of this property. Because Matt and I can say, the first thing we get is people go, well, what is the plan commission's appetite for changing that? And right now, I have no good way to answer that question outside of saying, well, this is what the comp plan said when it was done. So really, I'm just looking for feedback from plan commission tonight so I can better represent the village.
Discussion.
My understanding was that we have an unequal amount already of multifamily housing. In fact, we are, I think, the densest multifamily housing disproportionate ratio within Waukesha County.
There's also another piece right next to it, and we've entertained conversations. There's that little piece that's
3.5.
Yep, that one right there.
This one?
And that one as well. One of the last people that wanted to develop that was looking at doing businesses below and apartments above, but they couldn't meet the parking. They wouldn't be able to meet the parking for the space. The want, or in all my years, the want or the request in there is something in that particular area, something that will draw additional business into the area, into the Ryan Road and Wisconsin Avenue part, and draw people downtown. So I know that they've looked some of the things as more like a hotel or something that would bring business in, not housing.
From what I'm hearing from developers, and again, you always have to understand it's developers, so they're coming from a very specific angle, is the claim they make to me is this site doesn't work for commercial. It has access challenges because of the overpass. You can only really get one access point down here, and they view that as a hindrance. Now, again, it's, you got to take, with a grain of salt because of where it's coming from, but
You mean the guys with the stake interest have an opinion?
So, but that is the claim I've repeatedly gotten from, because that's what we've talked about. I said, well, this is what the plan commission, comp plan calls for, is this commercial, retail, entertainment, land uses. And what I continually get is it's just not going to work here. They get no interest in it for that. Which is why I bring it forward to you to say, okay, let's have that conversation. So that's great feedback from you, because it'll help me kind of talk to developers.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with them. If it was this, if this was a spectacular commercial space, it'd be gone. Except somebody would have developed it. I get that. But I agree with Mark. I just think there's, I would.
It's also been sold once or twice now based on the fact that we didn't approve something like that. So at this point, approving something like that or changing something like that goes against for the previous two owners.
I have two questions. So does that mean we don't have any other developable multifamily in the village? We're not allowing it anywhere? Or do we have some that's already zoned for multifamily?
So the last two sites that we looked at were the Queen of the Agape area and the nursing home area. We talked about those because of basically the landlock where they were located, and we made the decision to allow that additional unequal housing based on the uniquenesses of those locations. This is right on a freeway, this is right on a main road. The thought or expectation is that we can draw something into the village.
Yes, but it's a very dangerous intersection coming off Ryan, and until we can get Ryan signalized, and I don't know where we are with that. If that other development on the north side is ever gonna go, I have no idea, I don't know if that's in the village. But I mean, we have to get signalized there. I don't know if we have to petition the DOT, if we've already petitioned them, but, the other day I came off, I couldn't even get on the off-ramp. I was still on 16 trying to get off, and, that's at 5 o'clock at night, so I mean, that's dangerous. So I mean, if you were having a hotel or something, it wouldn't be somewhere I'd go, because you can't get there. Now, if there were signals, you could get there.
But it's okay to cram a bunch of, but you're saying in the same breath, though, that it's okay to cram a bunch of houses in there that'll occupy the same amount of cars and everything as a hotel?
Well, probably, I don't know what the
One times
density
six,
would be. I'm just saying, if you have a business that has renewed, people turn over all day, then you have more cars at a business than you do at a house. I'm just asking, because I think as a plan commission, we need to really look into whether we petition the DOT or how we start that process, because that needs to be redone, that intersection, coming off that freeway. It is really dangerous.
Yeah, I will say, when I look at this at a very high level in pure land use planning, I can see why multifamily are being interested in this site. From a high level planning perspective, these are the type of sites that do work well for multifamily residential, because you have limited uses that are okay with being adjacent to highways and high traffic roadways, and for whatever reason, multifamily is one that works. Apparently people that live in apartments don't mind car noise, because this is a typical development pattern that we see of multifamily going in these types. So I say that because just in a vacuum, it works. But I understand the housing ratio is a piece of that needs to be looked at more than just the simple land use planning element. But I do want to bring up, these, I can see why it's generating the interest it is for multifamily, because these are the kind of sites that do work well for multifamily in the right situation.
It also kind of scares me, and as you say that, is that they're not going to put luxury condos next to this. This is going to be not a very nice, it's not going to be the highest end development. It's going to be right next to a freeway.
No,
so these developers are not coming in and looking,
It's going to be
to build the best quality place with
with as many units,
quality rent in there. It's going to be,
so
cheap them, rack them, and stack them, and
so we've actually, not necessarily true. Some of the developers that we've talked to have proposed only like medium density, 8 to 10 units, 2-story, 8-unit buildings for a site like this. Some have looked at it as more of a high density, with 16 plus unit per acre, 3-4 stories. So the interest we've got from the multifamily developer side has kind of ranged the gamut. Somewhere, lower density to the southeast, duplexes, townhomes, and then higher density towards the corner of Ryan and 16. So the interest in the site has been for a broad range of what multifamily would look like.
I believe one of the sites that I saw plans looked like it was a community setup, the way the buildings were gonna situated with what's up at St. Mary's Clubhouse, different things like that. So that was kind of nice, but it's still heavy multi. And we also have to look at the standpoint that to the north, you're right on 16 there, or almost on 16. So that more than likely would be more of a multifamily type situation. But everything south of that, I think it would have been nice if we could have done the single family homes close to each other. And then just the combination thereof, the multi and the single family. But they're looking at just strictly side by side,
So
two
they said,
family, and
no one has yet proposed an official plan. They've showed us examples of projects they've done. So we haven't seen a site layout or anything for what this site could look like. But we've heard from developers on all sorts of variations for rental units. It's all largely been for rental. No, I don't think we've had anyone propose condos that I can think of, but a wide range of what rental could look like there.
I guess when I look at it, and I might be in the minority here, I have a tough time seeing how anybody would be able to sell a $500,000 to $750,000 house with your Highway 16 in your backyard. Does it lend itself to having mixed family on the north side with single family on the south side of it? Is that more feasible? Does that make it more feasible for development?
When I look at the site, I think that, to me, could be a logical development style where you start with maybe the highest density, if you were gonna look at multifamily, the highest density along Ryan and 16, and as you move kind of south and east through the site, both the massing, so height, scale of buildings, and the density goes down as you approach the single family area, kind of scaling it back. There's also, there's a large area kind of right in here that's undevelopable, it's wetland.
Just gonna say.
So you kind of have a natural break of the site through here where you're gonna have one kind of side of potentially development, whether it's commercial or whatever. And then you've got this piece on kind of the east side of that wetland that almost, maybe is single family residential or another use, and you break the site where that wetland is. And, I don't think anyone would potentially really want to see even commercial development right here this close to the residential. So maybe some type of scaling back of land use or densities you got to the east would be appropriate. You can see this conservancy kind of, the wetland goes up through here. So there is a bit of a natural break that would buffer if whatever type of development ultimately goes on that site, you would get some natural break as you move towards the residential area.
Are you potentially talking that there would actually, isn't that the end of High Street? Or is High Street concerned?
Yeah.
So you'd actually talk about additional homes being added to that dead end there?
I could see an argument for taking this section and creating a couple of lots as a natural residential continuation. Or even, say this large area was developed, stormwater management being done, something less intense on that side of this site, knowing that it's adjacent to single-family residential.
So then what happens across the street where there are no homes? It's not in the red, right in that area right now.
there are homes over there.
No, they dead end. They dead end too, and then it's all grass and there's,
It is already zoned residential, so if somebody did want to try to split it into a couple lots, they potentially could if the right-of-way was extended, utilities were available.
The 2.4 acres it's showing there was zoned as what? Because it's housing right now.
This one,
Yeah.
B1, I believe.
B1?
B1. This is B1,
That's
and
built
this
on
is
it.
B3.
Isn't that Kirkland?
That's Kirkland.
This is,
No,
this
my
has been
point is,
developed,
is
right?
it zoned to be Kirkland, or did we have to change it? And
We
it is
Did we do
multifamily.
a senior
did
overlay?
That
some-
is,
Yeah.
that has the, housing for the elderly.
Elderly overlay.
Okay.
Yep. This map that you're seeing is directly pulled out of the old comp plan, so that was done after this comp plan image was generated.
You know, Ryan Road is a county road, so you've got an entrance going into where the McDonald's is, right
Right
above
here,
there.
yep.
Why couldn't you put another road right there?
I think that you potentially could, the grading becomes a challenge where that comes down. This would be a site that as your village planner, whatever goes there, you would highly want to consider a traffic impact analysis, considering the challenges that already exist out there. And maybe that is where controlled intersection or something comes from, because there is some traffic already out here. Placement of that driveway, existing traffic patterns are the things that would have me recommending to, regardless of what goes here, a TIA would probably be a valuable piece of information to make sure it was being done safely and appropriately.
Roundabout.
Yeah, it's gonna become more challenging as the land to the north
He said
and
he
west
wanted something like done at
is,
those two.
is the industrial park and whatever else.
Comes
they're
in,
putting
I would
there.
assume that's
It's
gonna bring
be-
a signal.
Yeah, I mean, even in the morning, coming off of Highway 16, the traffic builds up on this side also going east.
Two previous owners.
But that's not in the village, right? That industrial
This,
park?
right next to McDonald's, that exit right there.
I know,
that
but I'm
builds up
saying
too.
the industrial park that's north
No,
and
it
west.
is not,
Okay.
city.
So I'm assuming that TIA would trigger those signals, because that's a big industrial.
Well,
park. But I don't know that. I'm hoping that's
a
what it triggers.
project-based TIA would only be
Correct.
likely to evaluate this. You could look at this a little bit, but I would really be looking at like these intersections, decel lanes. Yeah, as you mentioned, there is probably a maybe broader discussion with the city, the county, the DOT about intersections in general for this.
Has anyone proposed mixed use?
No one has proposed mixed use. Matt and I have suggested that and said, well, what if you looked at, a mixed use development of maybe holding a commercial edge and putting multifamily behind it? No one's been willing to take us up on trying to do a plan for that. That's been a suggestion we've tried, trying to balance, both desires.
Or like the previous lot, businesses underneath and apartments on top.
Yep. My understanding is, this piece is not necessarily for sale with this piece.
I don't think it's the same owners
Yeah.
anymore.
So, this commercial, even if the interest we have gotten is basically this parcel, not, down here. But I think mixed use, if somebody can make it work, I think could be a nice middle ground if somebody's willing to take that on.
Is there any desire on the commission to at least consider something that we've discussed here tonight? Having the single family on Hill Street and possibly low density on the southeast and southwest corner and the higher density on 16? Is there anybody who would like to look at something like that or consider it?
How low density are we talking? Like just singles, like townhomes, side by sides, or?
Yeah, that kind of thing for low density, or,
In order for me to consider it, there'd have to be businesses there as well. Because
Well,
the previous the previous owner had to sell because we wouldn't make any changes, so they had to sell it the way it was, and now all of a sudden we're gonna make changes. So
Well,
there'd have to be a business use consolidated with housing.
Time is a consideration of that. If they can't get development interest for business, at some point the village needs to look at it and say, is it time to move off of that stance? That time may not be now, and I don't want you to think that I'm saying it is, but time is a factor in that, you know. Plans are only as good as you can get the development community to follow. And if they won't or can't, that's when we take a new look at things.
I'm kind of looking at it at the standpoint, I'm not in favor, trust me, of total multifamily. But I am looking for something to go there to bring more people to that area for the development that we have over there now. It's very hard to keep businesses in that little shopping mall. Over the years, I've seen, I don't know how many businesses go in, go out, go in, go out. And also then we've got that 3.9 acre or 3 point, whatever that is.
This one down here.
Six, okay, 3.6 acre. If he's not willing to sell that as a residential, maybe we could get the commercial there. But if you're looking at putting people there, that's just gonna make that, unfortunately, property more valuable, but it'll look more like people may wanna put something there. Businesses, restaurants or something, because you have the people over there. Sort of like build it and they will come type situation. I don't know if that would happen, but I truly believe that that would help. But I'm glad that Mark brought this up and Matt to the commission, because I think it is something that we need to kind of look at and say, okay, well, maybe not going crazy with multi-development, but scale it down to where it's more palatable and the property is used, and also you've got hopefully single families over there. Could probably put 2 or 3 homes over there. I think it's, here again, I don't know. That's why I'm asking the commission, would you even look at something that was proposed like that?
I think I'd be more willing to take a look at it as like separate owned duplex potentially, as opposed to a management company running it, big developer, apartments, something that looks more home, low density, you know, got a yard, whether there's a clubhouse or not, no. But when you look at condos or side-by-side duplexes that are owned as opposed to rented, that's not gonna go against that percentage, right, of multifamily, because it's not necessarily multifamily, right? Then big development.
So it leads me to bring up something we're actually going to talk about next month. And it's Act 68 under the state statute that was recently passed. And it is a law that looks at making development easier for the development community that was passed. And we'll get into it next month, but really the ability to say ownership versus rental isn't part of the equation. You're going to be looking at densities and high level, and we'll get into a lot more detail next month, is if a development is proposed that meets your density requirements within and your uses within the comprehensive plan, it is severely going to limit your ability to say no if that project meets what your density and your comp plan calls for. So it's something to keep in mind in the back of your head. Your ability to regulate ownership versus rental is going to become even harder. That bill doesn't go into effect until January 1 of 2028, but it's something to be aware of. It's also something that we're going to have some discussions about, looking potentially at your comp plan in bigger fashion to make sure you're ready before Act 68 takes effect, and making sure you're in the best position you are for the kind of developments you want to see moving forward in the village. The takeaway from tonight is I want to make sure you understand you have a couple of options on what you want to do. You could take a very proactive approach as a plan commission and say, yep, let's initiate a comp plan amendment to change this area to something. and make it easier for a developer in the future to come in, apply for a zone change, get a plan of operation, and get the ball rolling. You could take the approach of saying, we started the discussion, now let's let the development community come to us and propose a project, and we can then amend the comp plan if we're comfortable with what their proposal is. You could say, we continue to show them the comp plan it is today. You know, we could always point developers in the future to the video of this discussion and say, you want to hear what some feedback is for the thoughts of this site? Here it is. So you don't necessarily have to move forward immediately with doing anything. You could choose to, but really the point of tonight was to have that conversation I just heard from you. So at least now we have a starting point when we get the developers' calls.
Any other comments? I kind of like to see what, if you just went and said, as you've heard tonight, some comments.
Yep.
I'd like to see what they would come up with, and then maybe we would change, or maybe we just say, no, we're done.
I can say this has been a huge benefit for me because now I have something to point to for when I get the calls. So I appreciate the feedback tonight. It really makes it easier for me to help advise the public when they call.
Are there any other comments?
Just the one on the, because if the developers are watching this now, right now, on recorded video here, I just want to say that Chick-fil-A does extremely well with their business with that one little entrance off of whatever street that is right there. They got to loop around, do a U-turn, they got to stand on the bumper of their car, pivot over, cut through Starbucks, up and then there's still a line in the drive-through there for Chick-fil-A every day on Capitol there, so.
Really big Chick-fil-A.
Thank you, everyone, for your comments. There are no citizens, well, I shouldn't say that. Jim, did you have a comment? Okay. Then I'm gonna go right to number 7, which is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn, Roy.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are hereby adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for tonight's